Hello everyone, it's Kristen Louise here. So today's video is going to be a little bit different to some of my others. It's certainly going to contain messages and transmissions to be shared. I'm going to talk about some visions that I've had, particularly in relation to the activation of Uluru on the 21st of December 2020 this year. And I'm also going to share some of my own story about my personal journey, and you'll see at the end how all of this comes together and makes sense. It's really, at the moment, life and the world as we know it is like one great big beautiful jigsaw puzzle that is slowly being pieced back together. The universe loves riddles, and today I'm going to be sharing one of those with you all. So let's begin. First of all, I want to start by sharing a little bit about, for those that don't know, a little bit about what I know about the activation at Uluru. It is a prophecy. It is something that now, I know you'll correct me if I'm wrong. So hopefully I'm getting all this information fairly accurate, and I apologise if it's not 100% accurate, but this is based on what I've learned and what I know, and of course there's always more to learn and always more to find out. But so from what I know, this is a prophecy that has been in place for millennia. It's something that the Indigenous people of Australia have been preparing for, as far as I know, for roughly 7 years, probably even more than that. It is a reconnection of Pachamama, Mother Gaia, to the divine. The seven sisters from the Pleiades also play a big part in this. It is a reconnection of sorts for between two worlds, essentially. So it's also a reconnection of Uluru as the sacral chakra in our world, and represents the womb as well. So it's actually the reconnection from Pachamama as well to all that is the divine. So some of the visions I have seen. So hang on, let me backtrack. So the idea, the prophecy that exists that I'm aware of is that there is a magic box of crystals. And it's look, it's debatable where it is. It's been left by the Pleadians, and on the 21st of December, when the planets are aligned, I do believe at roughly 9:02 p.m. in Northern Territory time, is when this activation will take place, and these crystals will be activated, which is also going to no one really knows. So it's all one big, beautiful prophecy. And I'd like to shed a little bit more light on it today about what I know, what's come through to me about all of this, and we can go from there. But so the visions that I've had is what I've seen happening is there will be a portal opened at 9:02, when everything's aligned beautifully. A portal opened that literally tears a hole between time and space, and it creates a pathway or an avenue for us to connect to other worlds. In this instance, it will be very much the Pleiadians, which is why I was talking about a reconnection there with them, to bring back what has been lost. So what I've seen is when this portal opens, it's like the crystals will be activated, and it's also like an umbilical cord will go from Uluru up into the ether, and that is the reconnection for Pachamama into our galaxy and all that it holds, and particularly with the Pleiadians, the Pleiades. So that's one thing I've seen. Now, the other thing I've seen is when this portal is open, what I've seen and what I know about this is that there will be an arrow. I've seen this because this is also linked very much to the Indigenous cultures all around the world. It's not actually specifically, it's a worldwide event. It's not specifically just with the Aboriginal people in Australia. It's actually across the board. It's connecting us back to our roots and to all of the things that have been lost along the way, all of the amazing knowledge and wisdom that is contained within the original peoples of the earth, and also within Pachamama. So it's a big deal. So what I've seen is this arrow will shoot up out of the ground, from the ground up into the sky. This arrow is a golden white arrow, almost like how it looks to me is like something like from an Indian, like the Hopi tribe, will shoot up into the air, and what will happen then is it's going to ignite the new earth grid. This is the ignition. It's flicking the switch on the new earth grid. So yes, it's a very big deal, and hence why it was part of the prophecy for a long time. There's been so many different things leading up to this that it was never actually really thought or known whether this would actually all eventuate and come into fruition, because there's so many factors at play for this to actually occur. So that's one of my visions. I've seen that, and look, I know this to be true. I know it within every single cell and fibre of my being. The other vision I had recently around this is also to do with the portal activation and the activation of the crystals. It's a mutual activation. It's a reconnection of the earth. It's an activation of the sacral chakra of Pachamama, but it's also an activation of these crystals that we have here on the earth. So what I'm going to do is talk a little bit now about my story, my journey, particularly last year, an event or some events that happened last year. My life changed dramatically last year. As I said, around June, July, I went on this retreat in Bali, a very, very powerful retreat, a very profound, I'll put it that way, spiritual retreat. Leading up to this, for about 10 nights before I went, I was actually visited by other beings every evening, every night. The minute I put my head down to go to sleep, before I went to sleep, I was wide awake for all of this. They came and they took me. They took me up in their ships up to the Pleiades. And when I asked them this, I asked them where we were going. I knew it was so safe. It felt safe. When I asked them where we were going, I was shown the stars, the 7 stars, and they kind of like became superimposed out of the sky. So they stood out, they flashed out, and they went back in, and I thought, this is the Pleiades. I'm going to the Pleiades. So up we went in these incredible spaceships. This happened every evening for about 8 to 10 nights. I'm not sure exactly how many, but every single night. It reached a point where I would hop into my room, I would lay down and just wait for them to come. What happened on these trips? Now, I could feel when I was on the spaceships going up there, I could feel like the G-force and that centrifugal force that you feel, like the bodily reaction. And when I went up there, it was like being reunited with my family. I even, they were very loving, very caring. My mum was up there. I knew it was my mum. We spoke telepathically. There was no verbal words spoken. It was all telepathic communication. And what occurred in each of these trips was what's commonly known as psychic surgery. So what happened was I had these beautiful clear crystals inserted into all of my chakras. Pleiadian crystals, very, very pure, very clear, like nothing we have here. And so they were put in all of my chakras. Now, the one in my heart is like a crystal shard. It's quite large. The one in my third eye it's like a diamond. Or like kind of a diamond that's a bit of a disc, and it actually has the capacity to look inward and outward. And what I realized was this for me was a reconnection back to my family. And through this one in my third eye, it's actually going to become like an interface between the two worlds, between the Pleiadians and Earth. So I'll be able to transmit messages and that I receive from them to the Earth. So it's really like a super highway of information that will travel between the Earth and the Pleiades. I also, one evening, went up. Look, it was the 12th or 13th dimension, extremely high. I had very intricate surgery performed, very specialized surgery where they put these crystal prisms behind my eyes. And so far, I don't really know what they're all for. They haven't been activated. And the other thing that I had was I had crystal prisms put in the palms of both of my hands. And through there is how I learnt last year that I can open portals. I can open interdimensional portals that do tear through time and space. And I've opened them in Colombia. I've opened one in Bali. I've opened one in Perth in Australia. And what it does is allows beings to come down and interact with whoever's, for whatever's required. So I've done it with a group of people where archangels came down and actually blessed everyone in the room. I've done it where in Colombia where I could see new ley lines formed in the earth. And but my point here is that so far the only ones that have really been activated are the ones in my palms that allow me to open these portals. I know the portals are designed for a worldwide purpose. They're not necessarily designed for specific individual people, which, mind you, saying that, I have recently had a session with a client where there was one open for a very specific reason. So my point is that this is what occurred for me last year. And the interesting thing with all of this is, as I've said, I've been told information that the other thing I know about them is they're actually linked, and I know now to what. They're linked to different locations around the world, because part of what I'm here to do is to actually go to the chakra points around the world and open these portals and reactivate the earth chakras and ignite them back, bring them back to life, to get them spinning again, get them circulating, get the energy moving, because they have essentially remained dormant for a very long time. And now it's time for them all to come back online. And this is part of Pachamama's Grand Awakening. So it all starts with with what happens at Uluru on the 21st of December, that's the big one, because that is the start of the whole process, and it's key. It's just key. Now, I recently watched a video as well about the different factors at play here with this activation taking place. And apparently we need 100,000 people to be putting their energy into Uluru at this specific time. And even that is a question mark, right? Is that going to happen? I heard that they have found a like an activator, or it might be the wrong word there, or like an ignition key for the crystals, but they haven't found the crystals yet. The clues they had were, from what I remember, something like in a rock in a cave. And some people believe that the magic box of crystals is actually buried within Uluru itself. But so far they haven't been found. And the part that I find the most interesting about all of this is, as I said before, the universe loves riddles. Life is not linear. Things are not linear. And I know, especially with what's happened this year, things are just not what they seem. So based on what I have been through last year, what I've been told, the visions that I've seen, I had this remembrance myself not very long ago, which is why I'm making this video and putting this out there, where I actually just broke down into tears, and I immediately knew that I needed to be at Uluru for this activation. And I saw that I will be opening a portal at this activation. And when this portal is opened, it is a dual activation. So the crystals within me will also be activated, and then that in turn will also, when I go to the different locations where the chakras are, will also allow me to activate those as well. So it is a dual activation. Now, when I remembered this, look, it is a big story. It is radical. You didn't experience it. It's been wild on this side, right? But the reason I know that this is true for me, I know this is one of the reasons I came here. This is it, is because I just started crying. I just out of nowhere, and I was just like, oh, wow, I need to be there. I need to open this portal. It was like a knowing, and every single time I talk about this, like my hands are just sweating there, and that's how I know. That's what happens before a portal opens. They get sweaty, they get hot, my body starts to shake. Every single time I think about this, every single time, it's like these memories, it's like body memories that are just happening spontaneously, simultaneously, and I know without a shadow of a doubt, this is one of the big reasons why I came. This is it. And in actual fact, if we want to go deeper with this, I started doing this work in my last past life, and it wasn't the right time. Things weren't ready. It wasn't lined up, and I've come back to do it, to finish the job. That's why I'm here. So based on that, my biggest question in the riddle is, could it be that the magic box is not actually a tangible thing that they're looking for? Could it be that the magic box of crystals, Pleadian crystals, is already found? And could it be that they're actually inside someone? They're already here. And they're the questions that are just rattling around in my brain. When I look at all of this, it's logically it makes no sense, but on the other hand, it all lines up beautifully. It's like, this feels true for me. It's what I came for. And it's not about me. It's not me standing here. You know, I'm not egotistical. I don't want to, you know, be the star of the show. It's got nothing to do with that. In fact, I'd rather I wasn't, to be honest. But it's undeniable. And if I don't say something, then I'm doing the world a disservice. I'm doing Pachamama a disservice. And what I know about this is it's about reunification. It's about bringing us all back together as one, not only as a people and a collective, but as an entire galaxy. All of us, all species, all races on Earth and beyond, as above, so below, the same thing. And it's happening now on a collective level, and we get to be here for this. So it's an amazing, amazing feat of ingenuity in itself. So the purpose of this video is just to leave that question hanging. And just to see, for everyone to see how that feels for you. I know how it feels for me, but I'm also very open. I'm open to all forms of discussion and communication around this, and more than happy to answer any questions and share any more visions I get around this. But it would be completely remiss of me. I can't not say anything. I just can't. So this is my declaration about what I know up to this point. This is me speaking my truth about who I am, what I've come here to do, and what I know so far, because it is a big puzzle. It's turning into a 12D puzzle, to be honest. It's just radical, and this is me just telling my story. Telling my story authentically, honestly. If I'm meant to be there, I'll be there. I know that. And the rest is up to the universe. So that's what I know so far. And if you've gotten to this far of the video, I want to thank you very much for making it this far. It is a radical story. It is certainly lots to ponder over and think about. And please forgive me if all my facts and around the activation are not entirely 100% accurate, because it is a team effort, and I know I'm certainly aware that I may only have part of the information. I've got the information that I need for my part in this activation, and obviously there's people all over the world that have their own unique pieces of information about it. But my purpose for this is just to ponder this and to see, could this be true? And to go from there. But I really want to thank everyone for listening. And as I said, I'll see what else comes through. But this is, it's a monumental activation. It's cataclysmic. And I know there's certain components, which is my other reason for reaching out, that are necessary for this to happen. And that's why I'm speaking about this today. Thank you for listening. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye for now.